We all come from spirit. Spirit exists whether you believe in it or not.
In your own mind, have a conversation with him and remind him that you're there if he ever wants you. You okay?
It can come through a paranormal experience they have. Hold on, she's coming for me. One sec.
Even if you go near him, I will come after you. So just back off. He cannot touch anyone in your home right now. So don't worry. I'm glad I was able to make you feel better by passing judgment over your family.
My name is Miriam, and I am a medium in the paranormal. And tonight we have a really great show, and I've got someone with me who will be coming on very shortly, Melissa from GhostGirlMemoirs. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Melissa and I have two things in common. The only thing we love are pets and aliens. So that's all we're going to talk about the entire time. Tonight's show is nothing but pets and aliens. Melissa, where are you located?
I'm located in northern Utah.
And what's the weather like there right now?
It's very hot. It's about 104 right now. Super dry as can be.
That sounds awful.
It's pretty miserable.
Yeah. We're only about I think we're close to 90 maybe, which all of a sudden sounds cool compared to yours.
Yeah.
We're going to do a live investigation tonight at Carly, the VillageTarotWitch's house. That is a mouthful. And we'll get more into that in just a minute. But I wanted to bring up a conversation that, Melissa, I believe you and I were having it with Carly last Wednesday. We're talking about people who say they believe in the paranormal. And, something I've always said is people don't believe in it. They know it. Because when I do these lives, these remote viewings, and we have viewers that are, in saying they feel the same thing, they felt that, they feel this, or whatever that is. These are people that aren't knowing it from a factual place. They're feeling the experience with me. And so, when people talk about believing it or not in the paranormal, it's not so much a belief, it's a knowing. Because when I do my work, I always say, in my mind, even 20 years later, I'll be like, this sounds like ridiculous. The words coming out of my mouth sound insane right now. But people believe it because, thank you, Anita. People know it. They feel it. They experience it. They're not just because there's no way to prove except this was a great transition. Melissa, your whole world is about trying to prove it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to.
But even if I have proof, people don't always believe that either. So, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Well, tell me about that. How is that a thing?
Well, I have a pretty cool video that's on a thermal camera. I'm the only one in the room. However, there's two people on that screen. One of them is blue, very cold, and one of them is really hot, and that's me. I'm the hot one. But, I show it to people and they're like, well, how do we know? How do we know you didn't doctor this up or whatever? And I can't prove to them that I didn't doctor it up. All I can do is say I was there and I know I was the only one in the room. So.
Wow, that's so interesting. Now, what about with your, this is no disrespect, but I've never learned the names of the devices, so I just refer to them as ghost boxes. What about the devices? When you hear something on that, do people believe that or?
If they're there in the moment, they tend to believe it. But if I'm showing it to them after the fact, not everybody believes it. They, that could have been somebody in the room, or I think people who who don't want to believe in it, who don't want to have anything to do with it are always going to find a reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
Not
That's
to.
a good point. Yeah, it's very true. And
it's
again,
not my job to prove to anybody that I think it's real. I mean, that's for them. But.
Right. And you know what's so interesting? It's almost, hearing you say this, it almost seems like you have a harder time with that conversation than I do, because you actually have tangible evidence. Where I say the exact same thing you do, where it's, it's not my job. I wasn't put here on earth to prove the work that I do. But for you, it almost sounds like, I guess because psychic mediums are just, people either believe in them or they don't, and if they quote unquote believe, if we go back to that word, it's because they had an experience or someone they knew had an experience. But that's more common actually than people having an experience with, an investigative device. That's not as common as my work. So I could interestingly see how, I'm not sure, I just made up a new word, interestingly, how that would be harder for you to prove than mine. But if we go along with that, go along with that same vein of knowing and not believing, that aligns with, what I teach, which is the unknowable knowing, faith, even if it's a religious faith. If you are very religious, you have faith in the unknown. At the end of the day, it is the unknown, right? Whatever God you pray to is unknown. Just because something's written in a book, the truth is you're still putting your faith in something you can't see, right? And that's the work that we do. That's the beauty of the work that we do. I see we have hold on.
That's my friend John.
Hi, John.
He runs Cache Valley Bigfoot, and he's my Bigfoot guy.
Oh, did you tell him about last week's Bigfoot?
Oh, no, I didn't, actually.
And you know what? I want to say, sorry, my big finger's in the way. I'm reading the comment. Melissa, without my glasses. Melissa's a fantastic investigator, knows how to handle the situations presented to her and her team. Well, thank you, John. There's a little shout out to Melissa there. Okay, so listen, last week we did, which we're going to be revisiting that. Where were we at with that location last week?
We were at the Teton Dam Spillway.
Okay. So one of my viewers on Instagram had DM'd me and said she also felt a creature similar to a Bigfoot creature in that area, the same place that I said it. And so I was like, oh, I have to tell Melissa that, because that was so cool that she felt that. That, if you missed last week's episode, there was Bigfoot, and then there was the Satan's ritual that was done there that we're going to hopefully try and get rid of. Curse? Yes, do you call it a curse if it's from Satan?
Well, I don't know. I've never met the guy.
What does Satan refer to his work as?
That's a good question, but a lot of people think that whole area is cursed because of all of the negative things that have happened there.
Okay.
They call it a curse. The legend is that it's cursed.
Okay. I mean, we do know that there was a satanic cult there, and that's what we're going to go in and clear out. But we're going to be doing that July 31st. So make sure to come back and watch, all of us, and some. Melissa's going to be bringing some more of her tribe out to help with that. So we're going to move on to Carly. Okay. Carly is known on Instagram as TheVillageTarotWitch. She's a practicing tarot reader, specializing in using tarot as a tool for personal introspection. She's also passionate about connecting with the spirits attached to haunted locations. Carly has worked alongside paranormal investigators, both from a distance and on location, to communicate with spirit, all with the use of her tarot cards. That's what makes Carly very unique, is how she does that work with her tarot cards. So Melissa and I are going to take a visit over Carly's now and see what we got going on. Well, hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
So good. So excited.
So good. I was really enjoying that conversation because I was like, I am the bridge between both of your worlds.
You
I
are.
am proof and not proof all at the same time. So that is
just inserted herself right in there.
here we go. And I'm right underneath you two. So when I stick my hands out, I'm like a little triangle. This is great.
Okay, but Carly, what's going on in your wall back there? That's so cool.
Oh, thank you. I've made it my personal mission to, I'm holding my dog because he is very large and barks so loud.
Oh, I want to
So
see.
Oh, here, can you tilt the camera? My
Again.
friend is holding this is my Great Pyrenees. His name is Gunner. He's
Oh,
a
wow.
baby.
He's beautiful.
He is
He
a very
is.
good boy, but he is all of the loud. He has no chill ever. So my wall, I've taken to painting the walls of my house however I deem fit for that day. It's my attempts at changing the vibe of my house, and it sort of works. So this wall has twinkle lights, and those are brush strokes. But yeah, that's my.
I love it. That
Thank
reminds
you.
me, I got to tell you guys something really quick. So when I was working with unexplained cases, we were doing remote investigations weekly, and it happened more often than not. Like if there was a human error in like Rick is the producer, and like if something like messed up, or you could hear like human voices in the back. Like there was one show where we could hear his wife making breakfast, right? And I commented on that. But if you hear anyone's dogs barking in the show, I never comment. I'll just be like, oh my God, who's that? Who's that? And then finally they called me out on it, and they were like, you're kind of a jerk when it comes to humans causing any issue in the show. But an animal can bark away. They can do anything they want. Like, oh, it's so cute.
He is very cute. He has a really bad separation anxiety, and I was gone a bunch in recent days because I have a friend visiting, and so now he's like, "Oh, we will cause a scene, immediately cause a scene."
That's
so,
listen. I'm on
there
his
you
team.
go.
I get it.
Cool.
Aaron
In that
said
case,
hi.
I really won't leave. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Okay, so I have to move out of having fun mode and go into the dark world of your
The
home.
dark world.
Okay.
Oh, tell me all about my home. I'm very excited.
Well, right. The first picture I pulled up is your kitty. So for anybody that's new, I work through pictures. So even if you're standing in front of me, I'll ask you for a picture. I work through the eyes, but also if it's a remote location, I need pictures of the home, outside, all of that. So as you see me looking down, that's why. Oh my God. Okay. And is this the guy with the slice of pizza? Who's that?
That's my husband.
That's a funny picture. Okay. Yeah. Now, so let me get names really quick of everyone that lives in the home. Who's the kitty?
So I have two cats. I have a gray tabby. His name is Lupin, like Professor Lupin. If you're familiar with Harry Potter, that is where he got his name from.
Okay.
And then the tortoiseshell cat is Hallie. Those are the two cats. And then Gunner is the Great Pyrenees. And I have a little black cocker spaniel. Her name is Lady.
Gunner and Lady. Okay.
Gunner and Lady. And then you have me. Hi. Hello. Carly.
And then you have three boys that live though, right? Or two boys?
I have one boy and two daughters. So I have Cadence, like a musical Cadence.
Okay.
And then Nolan is the boy. And then the little one is named Reagan.
Okay, so I was confusing you and Melissa. Like, again, I'll remember your pets' names. I'll never remember your kids' names.
No, I don't mind that at all. No, none taken. None taken.
I have nieces and nephews that I barely know their names.
I forget my own nieces' names half the time, so.
Yeah, I am also here for the pets. I will 10 out of 10. If you find me in a room at a party, I'll be hanging with the animals over the humans. So, yeah. Same these.
We're all the same there. Okay, so I'm writing down all these names because when I start reading, I forget everything. Okay, so now. Melissa, do you have any info you'd like to share while I go into my space?
I did find some information about the area that Carly lives in. That may be a reason for the backyard experiences you're having.
That's a good point. Carly, what the hell's going on?
Oh, so fun times. Do you guys want me to go outside in the backyard? It's not raining right now, so I actually can show you at the moment. My backyard is a very strange place. I will not go into my backyard past halfway after about 10 p.m. because the land no longer belongs to me. There is a definite line that I will not cross, otherwise it is very scary for me.
Did you send me pictures of outside?
I don't think that I sent you pictures of outside, but we can go out there right now if you would like to see. But pretend like there is not a giant tree branch, okay? We're all going to ignore this fact because I did not remember to move it. This is my outside. There is the tree branch that we're pretending does not exist. This is my backyard. So behind me is a nature preserve. And the reason that that's important is that it was explained to me not what this is, but it was explained to me once that whatever is back there, its territory extends into my yard. It doesn't care about fence lines. So my no-go zone is right about here. I won't cross this line after 10 p.m. because this is no longer, actually, since we're talking about it, I'm going to come closer because it's not a fan.
Okay, so there's something by, can you go closer to that tree? It's that tree right there.
The white tree? This one?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. It's that tree.
So we planted this after we moved in, but I used to have a raised garden bed in this corner, and I had a little potted garden on my back patio, and they all died all at once. All of it. It was an interesting experience.
Okay, she's frozen, which gives me a second to figure this out.
Sorry, I cut out. I moved too far away from the internet outside. But so we had that tree planted. However, that is definitely in the territory of whatever is back there.
Okay, so now, sorry, Melissa, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we forgot to have Carly even tell us what was going on. Okay, anything that you wanted to, or do you want to wait till I do my thing? You tell me.
You tell me.
Oh, okay. No, you tell me.
Okay, I'll make it Melissa first, then Miriam.
Okay. So okay. So Carly feels a dark presence won't go past. Okay, can you put the camera at least back to that tree? So I'm not, or if you want to send me a picture of it.
No, we can point it back at the tree. I'll stay right here so you can. Is the tree? Okay, there we go. There's the tree.
Okay, just give me a second if you guys don't mind.
No, not at all. Melissa, do you want to tell us about what you found while we are waiting?
Yeah, I don't know how much you want me to give, but
if you think it'll give, if you think, hang on, let me see if I come up with anything, and then if not, Melissa, start feeding me some info and seeing if you can steer me in a direction. Okay, so that tree, that plant. Okay, I don't. I'm in the middle of Los Angeles in the city, so I've never planted anything. I'm not exactly green thumb, but there. Okay, so that feels like it's raised above. So if for some reason the plant feels raised above the grass, like it's not potted. It's you dug in and rooted. It's rooted to Okay, yeah. So there's something that deep underneath the roots of that tree, like the tree's lifted up because of something underneath it that pushes it up.
That's interesting because the tree branch that we're ignoring came from that tree. It broke off during a storm.
Okay. Okay, so hold on. I know, Melissa, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, so one sec. So there's the there's something happening. It's reminding me almost like of a Ghostbusters scene where there's something bubbling up underneath that's pushing uprooting.
Okay.
I feel like that tree will be uprooted at some point. I don't feel like it has longevity. It may be maybe uprooted from a storm or something else. There's like there's something buried underneath there, and I don't know
That's
if
fun.
it's
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an actual physical. I don't want to say carcass, but
You can say it. It
body.
was
it,
right.
it doesn't feel like it's a physical, there's a physical carcass of any sorts. It feels like the remains of someone or something that's
Okay.
under there, and that feels less like human and more not alien, too bad for me and Melissa, more like a
I like this.
what was the word?
Oh, I said I like this, but we
Oh.
had talked about land spirits before. But
Oh, that's the
interestingly,
word.
it's interesting that you should say that because this tree, can you turn the camera? And this tree were planted at the exact same time. This one is thriving. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's flowering. So lovely. And this one's all scrawny and sad. So, but there was, when we moved into this house, there was another palm tree that died and we had to pull up. It just, failure to thrive, tree version, if that's a thing. I don't know. But so I feel like everything you're saying so far is very spot on with my experience
Okay.
in this yard. But yeah,
Thank
we had
you.
called it a land spirit before. I don't know
That's
if
right.
that's the right term. That's just the only one that I know.
Okay, that's right. I'm going to say one more thing that I'm going to pass off to Melissa and have you maybe feed me some info and questions. It feels similar. I'm feeling a vibe. I'm not going to commit to this. A vibe of a spell / curse type situation.
Cool, cool, cool.
Melissa, you're on, and I'll get more.
So before we get into that, do you want to kind of explain what the land spirit means to you?
Right.
Carly?
Yeah. So that was, I'm glad you reminded me of that. So a land spirit to me, so I do a lot of communications through tarot, and the way that my mediumship works is that I don't necessarily see or hear anything. I just feel energy signatures. So I have read for Bigfoots and aliens, fun fact, before, and everything that I read feels slightly different. So a human will feel one way, a Bigfoot feels another way, aliens feel another way, angels, guides, and so on. But the land spirits feel like something more wild, connected to nature, not like reading for an animal, which you might be able to describe better than me. But land spirits to me feels like part of the earth, but deeper and more ancient and conscious of what's happening. That's the best way I can put the feeling into words.
I think that was really good.
So I don't know the area that you live in very well, but you did send me the map
Yeah.
your friends had given you with the Hernandez Trail on it.
Yeah.
And my thought is, what if that trail goes along where you're living? I know that you're very close to it.
Yes.
For those who don't know what the Hernandez Trail is, it's a part of the it goes along the Atlantic Coastal Ridge, and there's a section of it that's in the Enchanted Forest, which is another place that's supposedly haunted. But this road was built they started it in 1837. At the time, there weren't any roads that went from St. Augustine to Fort Pierce, Florida. And so this was built to kind of move the soldiers and the troops from one town to the other, and to maybe move their supplies and stuff along as well. Because also during this time, there was the Second War of the Seminole tribe, and this large tribe was kind of being pushed out of their area further into the Everglades, and they were seeking to maintain their land. So that's why they built the highways to kind of offer a more secure route for them to move things back and forth. But when you refer to land spirit, my first thought was this Seminole, maybe we have some ancient Indian tribal type thing going on. where they're really protective of their land because they did not want to be pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That feels so. Sarah, I threw my earbuds in because Carly's dog was barking, which was going to make my dogs bark, so I had to put these on. So that cursed feeling, like, so when it comes to talking about tribal energy, I don't like using negative words like cursed, because they were simply defending what was theirs.
Right.
And so there isn't, so which I know that Melissa, you guys know that. I just wanted to kind of clarify for others that this wasn't, I'm not sure it, because it does feel like it was purposely this spell or curse, or what's another word, this energetic barrier was put there as a form of protecting what is theirs. And
that is the way it feels at night too. Yeah, that I don't belong there, so I just will I will remove myself from the situation.
I feel like
respect what's not mine.
I feel like that can be lifted now, though, because the land is gone. I mean, it's no longer theirs. It's long gone. So I feel like we can lift that. The question is, I'm asking right now if that's something that I can do. Do you want me to do that, Carly, or you prefer to have it?
Sure. Well, I would like to know what they would prefer, because I don't really go outside that much at night anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, you do you, I'll do me. I just won't cross your boundary at night. But if it slows down some of the activity inside of my house, that would be nice too.
What's going on inside?
Oh, it's just nonstop. Not nonstop, but I have random bursts of spirit visitors that may or may not be connected to the land to make this extra challenging for you. I get a lot of spirit visitors at night who want to tell me their life stories. And I wake up and go, wow, that's something you're going to need to leave. And I will ask you later in the morning when I'm awake. Not, but those could be two separate incidences. So that is, that's fun. But as far as the land spirit is concerned, it doesn't really bother me. So whatever you are feeling is the right thing to do there, I am okay with. I'm gonna let you be the judge on this one, because I don't really know.
I have a question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think the visitors could possibly be the ones that were traveling along that same trail to get from one place to another?
They could be. When I was learning how to communicate with spirits through the cards, one of the first ones that I spoke to was a boy, and I heard him, so that was fun. And he sounded around, my son's 11 now, but at the time he was younger. So he was around 11 to 13 age range. And I use the cards to fill in the gap, because it is very rare for me to hear anything. But the story that I got from him was that he was a bit of a spy for the soldiers, and he would run between the camps and pass information. So he just was telling me what happened to him. So it is very possible that the spirits that I interact with were traveling along this trail, but I didn't know that the trail was a thing. So I haven't confirmed that myself, is what I'm saying.
Well, it is a thing.
It is a thing. It's a thing. Now I know that.
And your home is actually only about, well, I say only, but about 90 miles from where they captured the chief of this tribe. And that's a whole other story if we want to go into that later, but yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Wow, that's some good investigative work. That sounded super sarcastic, and it meant to sound really serious. I was very serious. That's very cool. Okay, so let me go off of everything you just said. So as soon as you said chief, I really connected with him. And because I was asking because what's going on outside is no longer relevant, and it's not attached to any human that wants this to remain alive. And so it's really just like, to use, I think Melissa's word last week is residual. It's you pick it up and remove it, and it's not, no one's going to care or know.
Right.
So, but this chief that you mentioned, I definitely feel his presence strongly. And so I'm going to, yeah, he was the one confirming with me there's no connection. You can simply just lift it, just remove it. I mean, he says simply, but hold on, let me see what that means. Carly, are you comfortable going out there right now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if you could go out there and stand next to the tree, I'm going to show you where, like, and then of course, if anything weird or uncomfortable, you just leave. Don't wait for me.
Okay.
But I'm going to have you stand between the fence and the tree, but on, so my left, which I don't know what that means for you.
I don't know what that means either. I'm going to go back there. My friend's holding the camera, so you can just direct me. Oh, this is backwards for me, so that'll make it more confusing. You just tell me where to go.
Move the other, have her move. What's this way? Yeah, that way. Yes,
okay,
yes,
cool,
yes, yes,
cool,
yes.
cool. Okay.
Okay, right there. Okay, here we go. That's it. Close your eyes. Okay, 3 releasing breaths to ground your feet into the soil really quick. Melissa, join us. 3 deep inhales through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Here we go. Blow it out. So slow inhale, and as you exhale, root your feet into the earth. On your last one, hold your arms up, palms facing the tree. I'm going to pull this energy up from below, and it's going to move through the tree. So your hands are in essence supporting the tree, like holding it and embracing it with light as I run this energy through it.
Okay.
Melissa, I want you to call in who you utilize as protection from above. So I want you to feel yourself hovering over the tree with your guides or whomever you work with. Feel yourself pulling this energy from the top of the tree up and out into the cosmos. I'm in essence in the ground, pulling this energy out, running it up the tree. And what you and Carly are doing are holding this tree with light and protection so that it's not affected as this energy moves through it. Deepen your breath. As you exhale, run light around the tree and circling the tree with light and feeling and seeing that light running up into the cosmos. So for anyone that's watching, please do the same. Run energy around the tree, holding the tree, protecting the tree, and running that light up into the cosmos. So it's as if we're wrapping that tree right up. I'm just running that energy from the earth down, up, right out the top of that tree, trying to avoid it spreading out into branches, just keeping it isolated. This runs really deep. So I feel like we got the bulk of it. I feel like there's a little bit of charred leaves from it. Sorry, Earth. To be fair, I didn't start the mess. Hang on, just a few more breaths. All right, I'm locking in the bottom of this tree now, rooting it. The trees and the earth ultimately have the ability to obviously heal themselves and recover themselves, but just like all of us, sometimes we need some help, especially when you've just ran through some toxic, very toxic energy through it. Carly, how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I can definitely feel whatever you're doing in my hands, so that's cool.
Melissa, how are you feeling?
I had myself on mute, but feeling warm, high vibration for sure.
All right, just a couple. Melissa, I need your help the most because there's just some residual stuck in the middle of the tree. You can just pull that from the top. I'm pushing from below. You pull up and out. Just visualize it, imagine it. All right. Can you, do you have sprinklers back there you can turn on, or some sort of watering system you could turn on for just a minute? I know you.
I do, but I can't while we're on the phone. But it is supposed to rain again, so that should help. But I will turn it on as soon as we're done here. I'll get it on and water.
Okay. Okay, so then we move into the home. Hold on.
Okay.
This chief is talking to me. I'm not ready to leave the tree. He's saying, this was my home. This is where we raised many families, animals, food. Everything's been destroyed. The intention was not to harm or scare. The intention was to protect, just wanting to pass that along.
I am more than happy. They're more than welcome to stay. If that's, we can come to that.
It's not so much like that. It's more so him just letting you know that that was the intention.
Right.
No need for you to hold on to that experience or that
Okay.
energy. He's letting me know that he knows that it is safe for him and others to wander and to be present there. He thanks you for that.
Absolutely.
And he is not the one coming to you in your home. These are disgruntled, angry soldiers that are coming to you. My question to you is, you are welcome to leave the tree.
Okay.
Melissa, they're asking me to have you leave someone to watch over the tree until the water comes on.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you know who that person or that being is.
Yes.
Okay. And then, Carly, inside, my question to you is, when you ask them to leave or have your conversations with them, what do they say?
Well, I don't actually hear them. It's just me. It looks a lot like me sitting up at the middle of the night, angry and a little bit afraid, because they come very close to my bedside while I'm sleeping, and I don't like waking up like that. So I will wake up and tell them in less polite terms to leave. And then in the morning when I'm calm, I use the cards and I say, now that I'm awake and able to understand what's happening, please tell me what you wanted. And then I get their stories after that. So
Can you go in
just me yelling at them?
Got it. That's fair. Can you go in the room that this happens in?
I can, but we're going to have to very carefully hold the camera because I did not clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want, you can. You can just stand, if you want to just stand outside that door, you can do that too, whatever you're
That's
comfortable
even
with.
better. Cool. Let's do that because
That's fine. We can work
I
through a
meant
door.
to. Yep, I definitely don't mind showing you my room. It's just
No, my
do
eyes are
not-
closed. I don't need it. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
And
In that
listen,
case, let me just close
when
my
it co-
door and we'll pretend like it's not there.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to cleaning, I have some serious compassion, so it's fine.
Well, I am very ADHD, so I can just ignore a mess until I'm like, wow, this is bad, isn't it? And then clean it. But we are right outside of my bedroom.
Okay. So
And there
there's
is
one
a
guy in
little.
particular.
Yes,
His
tell
name
me.
is Steve,
Okay.
and he's a very disgruntled, angry
Oh,
soldier.
that makes a lot of sense for, yeah. Okay, go on.
Carly doesn't care about clearing anything. She's just like, tell me more, tell me more.
Tell me everything. You can get rid of Steve because it is very uncomfortable to wake up like that. So
Okay.
I would like to hear what Steve has to say, and then please
Okay.
leave me alone. That would be great.
Steve doesn't know who or what he's yelling at or why. He doesn't
Okay.
have any awareness really that you are who you are. He is very much stuck. Like, he's a very traditional stuck spirit that just needs to
Okay.
be let go. He was stuck because he's just got a lot of rage around his situation and how he ended up there. I don't really want to engage too deeply with the rage because it's holding him, and I don't think that's fair to him. So what I'd rather do is help calm the rage and move him
Yeah.
along.
I would, yes, that makes a lot of sense for several reasons that I can tell you or I cannot tell you.
Yeah, you can tell me.
Yeah, so members of my household have experienced quite the uptick of anger after living here that they did not experience before to that extent, and definitely has noticed characteristic like personality changes since living here. So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I know he's not the only one in there, but he's the strongest one right now. So I'm going to. Okay, so what do I want you to do, Carly? You're just going to hold your energy,
Okay.
just stand firm. And so it's as if you're trying to block someone from walking into your room. So just kind of this firm stance. Did you ever play the game Red Rover, where you all
Yeah.
stand? And
Red
someone
Rover,
has to
Red Rover.
yeah, the one where they
Hold your
they
arms
send,
so they can't come in.
yes, that's
Can't see me, but
the
that was
vibe.
cool. Okay, cool. I got this.
Okay, so you're doing that. Melissa, I don't think we need anything yet from you. Wait, that's not true. Okay, hold on. You there, Melissa?
Yes.
Okay, so right now, there's the bedroom, Carly, and then this guy, Steve, that's in front of her basically. And he's just like, he doesn't know what he's looking at or what he's doing. He's just flailing in front of her. And so what I need from you is for you to go up to him with me, and anyone who's watching, to just basically wrap him up in love. Just give him a big hug and but run that love through him. What we're asking is for him to feel this long enough so he can experience his guides to be brought to the other side. He never had any love in his life. Parents were non-existent and was thrown into a violent setting at a young age and then into war. And so he's just just completely void of human contact, connection, and which made him, in some eyes, a great soldier, but really a devastatingly painful existence. And so he does not recognize anything remotely close to love and compassion. It makes him very uncomfortable, uncertain, But in order for him to stop this cycle that he's in, we need to show him so he can experience his guides. His guides are sitting right there. He just doesn't know how to feel that. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute while we do this, me and Melissa. And anyone at home. Help is always encouraged. He's lots of screaming. The screaming is turning from anger to fear.
It feels very uncomfortable for me, I will say.
Yeah. And
yeah.
It'll move from anger to fear to sadness. And after the sadness, we'll have a breakthrough. Just, we need a few moments, and we need to make sure with you standing there, he can't move. He can't enter. So he's, in a sense, forced to do this. I've been given the okay to do it. I would never force this on any spirit. I was told it's okay to do it. He's really, really having a hard time here. So this is going to take a second. Hang on. Lots of scream. He's witnessed a lot of torture. And he's lived through torture. So we're moving through that cycle right now. Melissa, what are you getting?
My first thought comes to a lot of the soldiers that helped to build this road suffered from malaria, really hard work, heat, exhaustion, animals, boars, panthers, snakes, alligators. They had a really rough go of trying to build this for the army, and they didn't even necessarily believe in what they were doing. A lot of the soldiers felt that they shouldn't be pushing the Seminole tribe out of their territory. So that's kind of where I'm thinking some of these visitors, and specifically Steve, may be coming from.
What is your, when you connect to him, what do you feel?
Me?
Yeah.
I do feel that he's very sad and angry over the situation he was placed in. He didn't necessarily want to be there. You know, and if he did come from a place where he didn't have the love of parents and such, he just missed all of that. And then he was thrown into a violent situation, fighting for things he didn't necessarily believe in, and he kind of felt like maybe his life was a waste.
So
he's angry
keep
about
going. Okay. So everything that you said from the moment you started talking, I'm going to have you, if you have more, he kept saying, yes, what she's saying, what she's saying. And the more you talk, the more he calms. Validating. You're validating him.
Okay.
I mean, if that's all you have, then we've got him. That's fine.
I picture him just, you know, needing to release that anger and just give a good cry.
Okay, so
that's about all I have.
That's a lot. You validated him. So before this whole time, we're working. So the steps were, we blocked him from doing his usual pattern. And then we moved in with light and vibration of love and compassion, which moved him into, out of his anger into his fear, into his sadness, which is when Melissa was able to start speaking for him. As soon as you started speaking, he was saying what she's saying, what she's saying, what she's saying, and he would start to get smaller and smaller and smaller and release. So he is, being taken. Hold on. Melissa is very grateful to you. saying all these words that he's wanted to say, saying all the things that he never could say, but very
I feel like he didn't
grateful.
have a choice.
Sorry, say it again.
I just felt like he didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He's in gratitude. So now he's just sitting. So Carly, you can relax. Everyone at home who's helping, you can relax. He's in gratitude. So he's just going before he's prepping to go. He's just in gratitude right now. He's wanting me to articulate that rage was because of the violence he experienced at home, and then in foster or temporary types of homes, and then went right directly into war. And so there is just this sense of gratitude for being able to vocalize his experience. Thank you. Okay, I can't tell him like we're on a timeline. I'm doing a show, so I got to kind of let him have his moment.
Carly, how are you feeling right now? Do you feel like
I feel
this
a
is
lot
making
better?
sense to you?
Yeah, so it does make sense to me. I will say that when you two were talking about how he was feeling, I was wildly uncomfortable. I would describe it as, in terms of fight or flight, I am set firmly on flight, and I wanted very much to leave this spot. But as you were talking and kind of moving him through things, I do feel a bit more settled now. I feel sad more than anything in this current moment, which is probably the residual, just leftover sadness, because now that I respond to his anger with fear, and now that that is gone, I'm able to kind of feel what he is feeling a little bit more. So I'm glad that he is feeling better, feeling a little more grateful, a little more settled. There is a much happier feeling underneath the sadness, but I am a feeler more than anything. So I can confirm, very, very sad human spirit.
So you'll definitely now want to do a full saging, cleansing of the home, of the backyard. He definitely has residual vibration that's left. So you'll want to make sure that you just, it's kind of like like just residual, like if you're doing a project and paper falls on the floor, just cleaning that up,
right? Do a good sweep up. Yeah.
Do a good sweep up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, those were the two biggest. I think that it'll be interesting. Allow some time to pass for the residual of both of those, of the tree and of this energy. And then let's reconnect and see what's still happening, if anything, in your home.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. That was a lot. Thank you, everybody, for helping.
Yes, thank you.
Melissa, that was it's really always like I never know. It's just fascinating to have the people that you have together. Like what are the odds that we needed Melissa there to speak his words? It's just always so incredible to see. I always say, don't be surprised by spirit, but always be amazed. It is amazing to see how energies are gathered. But this also, aligns with why I'm very specific on how I work, why I work with pictures, why I asked for all of Carly's family. I already knew the energy of Melissa, but I need to feel everyone before we go into something, to make sure they're supposed to be there, and that this is supposed, and if they're not supposed to be there, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just, they're not supposed to help with this project. That's all.
Yes.
But to always have that alignment, that's why I ask for the information I ask for. That's why there's prep work, in a sense, and even before I do a basic reading. It's like I need to make sure that everything is aligned Because if not, we create karma. We create more karma. We create it for ourselves. We create it for other people. And there's enough shit going on. We don't need to do that. So with that being
Agreed.
said, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Carly, for being such strong presence and energy, because both of those experiences in your home, Carly, were big. That wasn't little stuff.
They are very, yeah, I am looking forward to having a little bit calmer. It would be nice to come home and feel at peace instead of come home and being like, wow, don't want to be here, do I?
Right.
Yeah.
So you may, especially since you're so sensitive, you're going to want to be cleansing morning and night for a while until you almost like, you'll get to a point where you almost forget to do it. And that's when you know you're done. But you also may move with if you feel like you're wanting to move furniture around, move stuff around, do that. If you don't, you don't. But if that comes up, do that. Okay.
All right.
Miriam, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on recognizing when she feels a presence, like, and actually talking to them? Hey, I know you're here. I know you're not happy. You know, what can I do to help you be more comfortable or move on? How do you feel about that?
That's a good question. With Carly specific, I don't like to give out general advice because with every experience, it's different for everybody. For Carly specific, you are learning about you through these experiences.
Right.
And so it's important for you to have them until you realize, I'm not able to clear this myself yet. I need help, or I'm too connected to it, which happens a lot when it's your own space. But I'm being told that it's important for you to continue to engage with, if there's energies there, which it seems like based on the information Melissa gave, this could be a constant. But this aligns with your work. And this is going to do nothing but teach you how to do your work even deeper. So this is I'm glad Melissa brought this up. The one thing I do want to add for you though, you want to now, moving forward, learn when enough is enough.
Okay.
We communicate. Like I always say, it's like a nosy neighbor. They knock on your door once, it's cute. They do it again. There's a boundary, right?
Right.
And in this situation, we forget the boundaries look different. We can't just pretend like we're not home, right? We can't just ignore the knocking.
So no,
that's
what I've been
where
doing lately.
For you, right? That's going to be your cue. That's going to be your cue. I feel uncomfortable in my home. I don't like coming home. I'm angry. When you're expressing those things like you would with a nosy neighbor, your part is done. You need to ask for help.
Okay.
I
can do that. That's actually a pretty good boundary, because I don't always feel like I don't want to be home, but I do definitely come home sometimes and go, wow, not a fan. So, I will remember that, and I will stop ignoring them, which I did for a little while.
Good. Well, thank you both so much for the work. And for those of you guys at home, we're going to be back next week. We have another investigation. And then, of course, July 31st, we're going to be clearing Satan's circle. But more information on that later. We've got one more reading before we finish out the show. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Melissa. Beautiful work. That was really amazing.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. All right. We got one more. That's going to be a hard one to top, though, right? That was pretty good. We got Catherine.
Hi.
Catherine's like, what just happened?
No,
I don't know. Don't ask. Just kidding.
No, Miriam, I'm not going to lie to you. Throughout that whole thing, like especially with Steve, I found my body having such a physical reaction to that. Like, I don't know if you can tell, like my face is kind of flushed, and like as we were like, talking to him and like feeding positive energy to him, like towards the end of it, I found myself like completely hunched over. It was the weirdest. I've never experienced anything like that.
Wow.
So that was really intense and fascinating to watch and also experience too. Because yeah, I'm like really hot right now. Just
Wow, thank you for helping. Thank you for being a part of that. That's not, and it's okay if you, for people at home, if you don't want to be a part, it's okay. But when people do feel comfortable, like it's the right thing to do to join in, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. Are you okay now, or are you feeling out of sorts?
No, I think I'm okay now. I mean, I'm so excited for hopefully what's to come from our reading. And
No
so
pressure.
I'm sure. No, I mean, if anything, like I really love this kind of stuff. And, you know, it's always just, even if it feels intense at times, like it's always something that I'm still very excited to participate in.
Very nice. Cool. I appreciate that. So I went through, Catherine submitted some questions and two photos. And I want to use you as a little bit of an example, not because you did anything wrong,
Oh my gosh.
but you, one of your questions is what a lot of people ask. They ask, is there anything my deceased mom, dad, grandma, whomever, anything they want me to know?
Mm-hmm.
And very commonly asked, I read very differently in the sense that a lot of psychics can just jump in and start talking to everyone and anyone. I realized at a very young age the way I read is I don't enter someone's space unless all is aligned and I'm supposed to. Just because we can see a spirit doesn't mean that it's your job to speak to that spirit.
Yeah.
Just because a psychic walks around seeing, I'm not saying that it's bad, but just because they walk around seeing spirits, it's to me a very old school mentality to just jump in and, oh, I can see it. It's kind of like if you're walking down a busy street and you just stop every single person you meet and you're like, hey.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody wants that, and there's karma attached. Where are you at? Where is grandma at? Am I supposed to be the one to give that information?
Mm-hmm.
I preface that all because I preface what I'm about to say with that, so you understand what I'm about to say, which is, yeah, I'm going to ask you specifically solely because you're in the hot seat, but I'm kind of asking you and asking everyone out there to ask themselves the same question. Why would you think that if your grandmother had something to say to you, that you wouldn't get that information unless it came through a psychic? Did that make sense, or should I reword?
It does. And I'll answer that with a bit of a story, if that's okay with you. So
yeah,
my grandmother, when she passed, it was a very, and I'm sorry if I get emotional. It was a very relieving thing. Like, we, of course, were unbelievably sad, but we knew that it was her time. And even the circumstances around her passing were very calming and very relieving in a way. And since her passing, she will visit me every now and then in my dreams. And oftentimes it'll just be she's there. She doesn't really say much. There's been 2 instances where she has shared a message with me. And the first time was probably months after she passed, like the first few months. She came to visit me and she was her young self, like very young, which when she passed, she had Alzheimer's, and mentally she was young when, you know, in those final days. And so when she came to visit me in the dream, she was very young and she was like, I'm happy. Like, I'm here and I'm okay. And fast forward a couple years later, my sister is at a show where there's a medium, and the medium is trying to like read, you know, to another person saying like, you know, hey, your spirit's here, what have you. And she was like, there is just this loud voice. There's this very loud Irish woman. And she just like kept going on about that. And it was my great aunt that came to visit. And she was one that was delivering the message for my grandmother. And so I guess for me, you know, knowing that I haven't had my grandmother come visit me in a while, and knowing that in other instances where a family member has gone through a medium, it still hasn't been her necessarily. So I guess my hope in, even with today and sharing her photos and sharing her story, my hope is that maybe she does want to see me and that she does want to have a message for me. So if she doesn't, I know she's happy and I know she's in a good place. And I don't wonder, is she okay? It's more, I want to know from her, how can I continue improving the family relationships that were maybe fractured in her passing, because that was the case in a lot of ways. And like, that was what my great aunt was coming to say. She was giving advice to my sister on how to fix some of those fractures. And, there's been some other fractures as a result that haven't been fixed. And I feel like my grandmother would be the person to help with that. So that's my hope.
I appreciate you sharing all of that. Tell me, did your sister apply the information that the great aunt gave her? And if so, what was, without detail, if so, what was the outcome?
To tell you the truth, I don't think so necessarily, because that relationship still is fairly fractured. It's not my sister and I, it's sister and another family member. So I think with my sister, she was more so overwhelmed that she received this message. And I think that, the other family member in that particular equation isn't necessarily receptive. So I think that's why, there hasn't been much improvement.
This is exactly why I prefaced the reading with that, right? Is we can't just go around blurting shit out. It can make things, it creates more karma if people aren't ready. So your grandmother, tell me her first name.
Joy.
Joy. Okay. So there's a couple things happening. One is, I'm going to say words that sound very cliche for a psychic to say and sound very insincere, but it's all coming from her.
Okay.
Of course, I'm always with you. Of course, I'm here. Just because I'm not speaking to you in your dreams doesn't mean I'm not there. It's important to remember that spirits, when we pass, the best way I can explain it is it's as if we go into like classrooms and we're studying where we've been, where we go. Like, it's not like that, but it's a way for you all to understand what's happening. And so your grandmother in particular is in that space, okay? Now, there's many times where I'll read people and they'll say, well, how come they're not with me? Everyone says they're with me. Well, they are, but some tend to be like right here because there's an agreement set up that they're going to be right there until this person does A, B, or C. Your grandmother doesn't need to be right there with you. So it's as if she's at the mall, right? And she's doing her own thing, living her life, and you don't talk to her every day, but when you need her, you call her and she's there.
Oh yeah.
That's the same. Nothing has changed, okay? That's important that you understand that with her. She's saying, I'm staying out of this because this is none of my business. Also, the players in your family have no desire to change or act any differently. So there's nothing for me to do. The question lands on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is about you realizing that you are outgrowing the family, that you are outgrowing your relationships in the family. It doesn't mean we cut people off. It doesn't mean we necessarily even tell them those words. It's something you feel, and that if you lean into it, you'll notice your life just sort of starts to change, and you don't have the time you had anymore to even simply talk on the phone. It just naturally will start to shift if you trust it and lean into that. Your grandmother needs you to go through this. It's part of your development. It's part of your karmic contracts with the rest of the family. But she is right here, right there, never gone. It's not a thing. There is not one word or one thing that can be said that will help you other than lean into it's time to make a break. It's time to disconnect. I don't say that literally. I say that figuratively. If you need to do it literally, that's your choice. But you don't have to in order to make this shift.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to understand that you've never really blended as much as you thought you did. And so it's now important that you start to separate that. Grandma knows that. She's with you. She's one of your guides. We've got this. It's cool. Don't worry. She's very much like, stop making this a thing. It's not a thing. Okay. Just lean into all of this. Do you have a deck of tarot cards?
I don't know.
Okay. So buy yourself a deck of cards, pull her energy in while you're looking for them. So the two of you will buy them together and have that deck be your communication deck with her. That's what she's saying. You may find you'll get multiple decks because they're for different purposes, but there's one deck in particular that you two will be grandma's deck.
Okay.
So when you want to connect, if she's not coming in through your dreams, but also really, really, I keep using the word lean into, sorry, but it just is what's coming. Lean into when you go to sleep at night, calling her in and just trusting. They're not always going to look like grandma, right? They're not always going to carry that energy. Carry that physicality.
Mm-hmm.
So just know that if you start getting information in your dreams or just some sort of nudges and guidance, that it's her, even if it's not her hosting the dream, Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And even what you're saying now is resonating in a lot of ways. It's resonating for sure.
I'm not cutting you off because of time. I'm cutting you off because she's saying not too much. You're in the middle of a growth period in your life. And let me give you a quick example. A week ago, my mom texts me and she says, I saw this she said, I was in meditation and with your niece, I just saw this dark energy and I'm concerned. And I was like, okay, I sat down. I'm like, I don't see anything. I don't get it. I feel nothing. I see nothing. But I said, whatever you're feeling is real. So you need to track this and you need to follow this, because if it's not about passing off that power, right? So then a couple days later, we find out something happens. And of course, it totally aligns with what my mom was feeling. And my mom was the one that she joked. And anyway, I won't bore you guys. I guess you had to be there for the jokes. But the point was, had I been given that information, I would have taken all that power away from her and been like, okay, this is what's happening. Blah, blah, blah. But I was like, listen, just because I feel nothing means nothing to what you're experiencing. I say that because you have to have these experiences that are coming up, right? You have to be able to have these incredible, like I said, never be surprised, but always be amazed moments. Oh my God, it's exactly what the card just said. Oh my God, it's exactly what my dream just said. Oh my God, it's what I just felt. You have to have those. Me or anyone else filling that gap for you teaches you nothing, right? Yeah. And offers you nothing. And so what's about to happen is you're going on this journey of a ton of self-discovery. I'd rather call it soul discovery, because self-discovery feels more like a human. I mean, obviously it'll be a human experience because you're human, I know what you mean. But it's a soul discovery, right?
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful time. She's right there. Don't worry. Rewatch this just to remind you about the whole family stuff. You got it.
Yeah.
She's not concerned about you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I hate leaving people when they're mid-tier, but when my information shuts off, it shuts off. I'm like,
No.
she's a very sweet, angelic presence by all means. I think she's going to be coming back into body though. That's why she's not fully.
Really?
She's kind of in her little classroom, but don't worry. It's not going to interfere with you and how much you need her. So don't worry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you, Catherine. All right. That was so much today. And sorry for all the movement with my animals. They really started barking during Steve. And then right when Grandma came in, she jumps on my Opal wanted up. I didn't want her to start barking. That's the beauty of animals. That's why we love them so much. But that was, thank you for those of you at home that helped with Steve. That was a lot. And with the tree. Next, we have another tree, I think, next week. Another haunted tree, which is so bizarre. And then again, stay tuned because I'd love for you guys to help with clearing this curse from the satanic ritual. Thank you again. We'll be back next Sunday this time.